What will it take for me to lay my sword down? Well, I have something for you. We're going to do that at 5.
Okay.
First, I want to handle the game we just watched. And second, we'll do cleanup aisle cookies. And let's start with the game. The positive, the game is almost like a capsule of this team. Reese Olson is awesome. He retired the last 14 batters he faced. Very similar to last night's game, where the worst lineup in Major League history scored 11, which we almost predicted. We go, watch. We're burying these guys today. They'll put up 10. Oh, they outdid that. But the bullpen came in on a night where Maeda didn't have it, and they were outstanding. The pitching is playoff good. Now, Reese Olson today, here's the thing that kills me. Do you know the 4-run inning they had for Reese Olson is more runs than they've supported him with all season in 6 starts?
Yeah, when you hit me with that stat, that was like, okay, I need to check that out. Yeah.
But it's the late stages. Now, look, if this were 2008, 9, 10, 12, these phone lines would be full with bullpen conversation. Why did you go to Foley in the 7th? Why was Chafin in the game and not Lang when Fry already kills lefties and you have it right there in your book? But I'm not going to go there. I want to go somewhere different, okay? And the different is this. I saw something today that I have never seen in the couple years now of Major League Baseball's new extra inning rules. I have never seen a guy thrown, doubled off, whatever you want to call it, thrown out at second while standing on second on a ground ball to short. What? Disbelief. You thought Chafin was in disbelief when he went, how the fudge? That was me. Chafin giving up the home run. That was me watching the ball game with you guys on Kenny's bootlegged live from Barbados cable signal. And we're watching the game. I looked at you, and I had to have the same look on my face. And I didn't say the word fudge. I said one that rhymes with duck. I've never seen it. How? Yeah. Harvey.
I mean, it was rudimentary play in Little League. That you don't, the ball is in front of you. So maybe you take a step to see if the ball is going to go past the shortstop, but you leave yourself enough space to get back to the bag safely or dive back to the bag. He got caught in no man's land. He was
out by a mile.
It was base running error that a pro should never do.
And if you think we're overdoing it, please understand, you lose the game on that play. The free runner at second.
I was going to say, baseball basically says, here is a run. Okay, we want to expedite this thing.
Right.
We're going to set you up with a man in scoring position, and you shot yourself in the foot. Why? Off of a routine ground ball. This wasn't like, oh my God, it was a heck of a. Like, what were you doing?
Well, the other thing, and Rico, like this is look when they put Javy out there, he leads the team in steals with 6 of them. I mean, they're not a running baseball team. They're just not. If that ball goes through, you're scoring regardless. Or at worst. Fine, we got first and third. There's no issue. The game is a microcosm because I will say it again. As hard as I am on this franchise, this pitching's good enough. Mm-hmm. You know, Reese Olson should file a grievance. But like between the weird bullpen usage, where AJ, look, this is not the first one. I just haven't really delved into it because that's not where the audience is at right now.
A little too early for that.
And let's face it, half the audience can't watch the games. Yeah. So when you make a weird decision the other day and you're using Shelby Miller, it's like not everybody can close.
And you're right. For those who did not watch the game on Bally's, go find it on social media. You'll see what we're talking about with Baez getting picked off of second.
On a ground ball. On a ground ball.
On a ground ball. But basically, he ran himself out.
It cost you the game. It really does, because now and again, if you're at home, maybe it's different. You're on the road. Cleveland can come up now, bunt the man to third, hit a fly ball. Tigers tried to bring in the 5th infielder with the new shift rule. Fine. But I want so badly for this team. You see the formula. We talked yesterday. If this team can score 4 or 5 runs a night, they can get to the mid to high 80s. They can win games, Rico. This pitching, Another turn in the rotation where Jack Flaherty was great. Another turn in the rotation where Reese Olson was great. You know, Skubal's a Cy Young caliber arm. Whether he wins it or not, I don't care. And it's like last night, man, it was awesome. That lineup, as ratty as it was, they saved this team on a night that Maeda gave you no chance to win. Maeda was awful. Bullpen was incredible. They come in today and you go, why am I still looking at Javy Baez? You know, like, why? You just cost us a game. And if I have to hear another person talk to me about, well, he still has a positive WAR, so he's giving you value, I'm done.
No, because
it's
it's plays like this that you know what? You would almost forgive a Colt Key. You're new, okay?
You're new here.
Yeah, okay. We don't normally do this, son, and we frown upon this, but let this be a lesson. Javy, come on. We put you out there for a reason. You're the base runner. You're the speed of the team. And the ball's hit to short, and you chose to just put yourself in a position where you were just dead to rights. You couldn't get back to the bag fast enough. Why? Where were you? You would have been better off just running all the way down to third and forcing them to throw the ball to third base and hoping that they got a throwing error.
And look, it's a big swing, right? Today's game's a huge swing. Now, last night, you score 11 runs and you don't win. You're basically the Colorado Rockies. You needed tonight. I mean, your road trip was a 1-5 disaster. Now, look, we're going to get to this.
It was a 1-5 disaster. And I know I hate doing the shoulda, woulda, couldas, but guys, it could have been a 4-2 victory.
Minimum 3-3 the way the pitching was.
Right.
Minimum.
But I think you could have took 2 from the Yankees.
Should have.
2 from the Guardians. And you know what we're talking about? Hey, maybe you are a contender.
Right.
Maybe you are serious because you're not doing it against bottom feeders. You went up against the Yankees and Cleveland, and you got it done on the road.
And it's frustrating because the recipe is there. They've got a lot of it right with the arms and the bullpen. And I told you, as critical as I am about Scott Harris's approach to offense, is as complimentary as I've been about his ability to put a bullpen together. Period. I have no qualms about it. But today, the Javy Baez thing, look, I know, like, I'm biased, right? Like, I want Javy Baez gone. I did never wanted him signed.
That's really not. But right, you did not want him signed because I remember when I brought it up and you like, no. If there was a chair drop back then, you would have hit me with it. You're like, no, you don't want this guy. I'm like,
anybody but him.
Like, you know what? They need a shortstop. Maybe the compromise is him. But now it's just to the point where, I guess, what's the tipping point, the breaking point where all of a sudden the Illich family just says, you know what, we can't do this. We just got to let him go. We're going to have to eat the cost of the rest of this contract, and we just got to let him go because he's not helping the team.
I compare what happened today to what happened when he forgot how many outs there were last year. Like, today's a day where if you want to be a leader, and I'm A.J. Hinch, I'm sitting Javy Baez down for the next – well, obviously you have a day off tomorrow. I wouldn't play him Friday night. Like, you can't do things like that. You know, and if you want to tell me, well, Javy's intrinsic value is he's good in the clubhouse, if that's the angle you want to take, fine. This is the second time you've made a bad news Bears error in a year.
But see, but if you're good in the clubhouse, how do you then go up to one of your teammates when they're doing something wrong and try to check them?
Right.
And I'm like, well, you got picked off of second. Like, you got the first out in Cleveland.
I know.
Did you forget about that, Javy? Well, it's not about me. Well, it is.
Actually, it is. So, no, I'd like to know where people are at with it. It's a real, on a day-to-day basis with this baseball team, it's a real love-hate thing. I love a lot of what they do, man. Rico, I'm telling you, Reese Olson, this team ought to pass the hat. There should be some kind of, like, church deal. You know how you can text your offering in, David? They ought to be depositing some money in Reese Olson's bank account. The kid is pitching outstanding. Right. Text Reese to 479. Like,
either
something.
that or maybe he just needs to take them all out to dinner and find out why. Why don't you guys play for me?
Why don't you love me?
But I do.
The rotation is there. The bullpen is there. The offense, it's not. I know last night notwithstanding, but like today, case in point, you scored in 1 inning. And should it have been enough? I mean, yeah. But it's hard when you score one time to take essentially you took a 2-0 lead, okay? Because you had to overcome the 0-2 deficit. It's really hard to win games 2-0. And that's what you're asking your guys to do over the last 2/3 of a baseball game. I get so angry because I'm telling you they could win this division. And they're just giving games away. They're giving them away. Now, they're 19-18. Now, you're not the Houston Astros. You're not a Houston Astros bad. But, Rico, these games will count.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yesterday I made the point. It was my estimation by having a wretched offense. You'd cost yourself 5 games in the first 6 weeks of the season.
Yeah. But think about this, Mike. Just in the 6 games, as you said, that you just played, you lost to the Yankees 2-1.
Yeah.
You lost to Cleveland 2-1 and 5-4. Those were all 3 games you could have won. You could have got that.
Well, today's was just, look, if I lose the game 6-5, if I lose the game 7-6, if I lose a wild game in extras, it's fine. When Javy costs me the game by getting doubled off second on a ground ball.
Taking away all threat that we have of scoring.
And truthfully, look, I don't want to overstate it, but we act like the baseball games in September are the only ones that count. They all count. Go back to 2009 with game 163. At any point, you could have avoided that.
You're right. The games in September are the only ones you remember because you're going to forget about this.
No one's going to remember Wednesday, May 8th unless you're losers like us.
Right.
Me and Rico with our walking stick. Oh, what about Harvey in Cleveland on the 8th? Yeah, we'll be the 2 old men at the opera.
Right.
And that's the hard part for me. Because it's very hard to wrap your arms around this team. Because they just do some things where you're like, oh my God, why?